Hi everybody! Welcome to Indigo Chameleon. It is Tuesday night. It is time for a little Dungeons and Dragons set in Wonderland. We've got a few announcements before we get started. First and foremost, we have a Discord. Come hang out with us in the Discord. There's some cool stuff, like a couple of play-by posts. One of the play-by posts, Blood and Bourbon, is actually closing on Halloween, so now is your last chance to get any sort of Blood and Bourbon post in there. But there is a memes channel. There is all sorts of fun and interesting things to happen in the Discord, plus our updated schedule can be found on the Discord as well. You can visit our shop, too. We have a cool shop where you can find all sorts of cool goods, lots of good merch. Wow, we're doubling up, huh, kids? Not only do we have a shop where you can buy actual stuff, like Indigo's t-shirt or the mug there, we have a virtual shop as well, where you can buy online collectibles associated with the campaign. You can buy stuff like Mandrake's hat. You can buy Slower Poke, which was purchased a little bit earlier. You can buy cool stuff that levels up your Twitch avatar. And not only that, but there are things that this group can use as well. You can buy the Butterfly of Reroll, which allows a cast member of your choice to reroll a dice in a clutch move, and it also heals them a little bit. So that's something to be aware of. There's cool stuff in there as well in the shop in terms of creating an NPC and planting them into Wonder and Never and all sorts of fun little collectibles. So be sure to check that out. It's on the Twitch. If you're on desktop and you just scroll down a little bit, it's right there. Announcements for upcoming shows. Nothing here on Indigo Chameleon tomorrow night, but on tomorrow night it is Indigo Chameleon and I's last episode of Something Wicked This Way Comes on the Plaster Dragon. We're closing out the season there, so come and visit us there. On Thursday night we have a special one-shot happening where we are going to see, I'm really excited about this, for those of you that watch both of our campaigns, we had an episode set in Neverland, and this is going to be the opposite end of the story. We're going to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern it. You're going to see what happened with Clip and Cal and some new friends that they've met along the way, including a pixie and some other individuals as well that I don't want to spoil. So tune in for that on Thursday. The reason we're doing that is because Friday we're going to be dark. Normally there's an episode of Neverland, but instead we're going to be taking some clips live from location in Philadelphia for this immersive theater horror experience that we are really excited about. So that's going to be happening Friday. Saturday night, dark with the potential for some pop-up streams in Philly as well. Sunday night we have another D&D 101 as we take some noobs and put them through the ringer, including Indigo Gma.
Oh.
And T. Graves.
Nice!
So, I am very, very happy and stoked to have these new players to the channel. Speaking of T.E. Graves, we on Indigo Chameleon are implementing something new for the month of October. We have our Artist of the Month set up for the month of October, and I want to start it off with a bang. Yes, you too. T.E. Graves is our Artist of the Month, and we're going to be doing a special giveaway later in the month of October of artwork that she's done. She's amazing, very supportive. So you can visit her on Instagram at T.E. Graves Creations. So that's where you can visit her, and we're going to have a
And I'll totally have all sorts of wonderful copy pasta with all that information shortly.
We will have that soon and set up, so you can visit her, and we want to support. We had a long conversation in terms of we want to do sponsorships and things of that sort, and what better sponsorship than artists, like people that are out there creating and doing things. So every month we're going to have a different artist that we like to spotlight and share information about. So that's our October artist. I think that's it for announcements. Once upon a time in Wonderland. A lot happened the last episode, kids, so I highly recommend that you go back and watch it. Some of the highlights from last week's episode are with the group sort of convening in the forest after the major attack. There was a bit of downtime. This rest after the attack was interrupted as Enwin decided to take it upon himself to go into the woods and talk to this draconic force. After some poking and prodding by Enwyn to get the truth was indeed revealed to him in a major way, as it come to find out that this is not a dragon, but this is a member of the Fae by the name of Puck. This figure talked with Enwyn for a while and tried to erase his memory, or at least modify it in a way that would render him unable to remember anything that happened. However, with the help of Anansi and Enwyn's cleverness, he was able to push back this spell and pretend like it took hold. After that, there was a conversation that was had and a bit of an argument as Grimm revealed that he was a follower of the Jabberwock and had been upon the moment of his death. Whether he still follows him or not is yet to be determined. Mandrake revealed that the caterpillar allowed him to basically present to the group that one of the marks that were placed upon their arms that cut off contact with their individual gods could be removed. While the group was having a conversation that got a little heated about whose mark could be removed and finding out details about it, Mandrake nodded his head, walked over to the caterpillar, and said, well, the group kind of decided, and I'm it. His arm, unfortunately, through a series of missteps and arcane magic that went south, was removed and replaced with that of a spectral arm, forming the smoke that has become somewhat commonplace to come forth from the caterpillar when he is communicating. After this was done, Thoe managed to break away from the group as well and make a similarly great decision and explore the seed that Enwyn had entrusted her that contained his people. After communing with the seed and basically asking the seed to present any information that it wanted to present, a image was shown to her of the tree burning and Puck and the Red Queen standing over it. Enwyn does not know this, and as she walked out of this hut, her regular red flames that seem to erupt when she's angry were replaced with that of a green flame, that when the green flame seemed to touch the ground and concentrate in a spot, plant life would grow from where the flame touched. Enwyn, seeing this green flame sort of erupting out from Thoe, walked forward, casting a spell that would negate the flames. There was a intense showdown as the two of them began to walk towards each other, his shadow flames combating that of Thoe's flames, which were raging out of control. After he embraced her, both flames quelled, and she shared with the group that she was granted a vision of Enwyn. And I think that's where we left off. So, adventurers, what would you like to do? This conversation between you and Enwyn has just taken place. The rest of the group is sort of huddled around at this point. You've broken away from Princess, and let's actually go to that. Day, you weren't here last week, and because of that, you and I talked about, or you were voluntold of what happened to you while you were gone during that time. During that time, Princess, who's been somewhat abandoned by her group for about a year and you have not heard from her, has joined up with the people of Dinah. And when that first army arrived, she was there. And she pulled you aside to talk with you and to share with you that there is no hatred in her heart towards you anymore. How did Day react to that?
She probably would have just held her.
I think you would have tried. I think it's a very still moment. I think you would have gone forward to hold her when the raven-haired woman from in the trees would have fluttered down to the ground and put a dagger to your neck. And Princess would have held a hand up and introduced her as Thalexa. Thalexa is a servant of the Raven Queen, but she is also a were-touched that has a bit of raven in her blood. So this is Princess's new paramour, and as you go to embrace her, I think there would be a moment where it would be misinterpreted as something else, and Thalexa would interpose herself. As Princess sort of pushes her back and looks at you, She says, I'm sorry, she's protective. She has a right to be. And Alexa sort of nods her head and doesn't really say anything to you.
She has every right to be protective. Haven't seen you in some time. You've gotten beautiful.
Let's be fair here. I've always been beautiful.
Yes, yes, but if I compliment you all the time, your head's gonna get big, and that's annoying.
It's true. Let's talk. And she would lead you over to a tent and share with you what happened during her escape from the castle, realizing that the Red Jack was being promised to her as a husband. She fled the castle in the middle of the night, finding a way through the relationships she had forged with some of these servants. There she stumbled along for days and days, hungry and looking for any sort of shelter, and then she stumbled upon the city of Dino. There was a group of people willing to teach her how to deal with having two parts of you that are warring against one another and find balance within. The people of Dinah never knew who she was, and they accepted her as just someone who needed help. That's where she met Alexa. And the two of them forged a bond. Alexa doesn't speak. It is a choice that she has made. She can repeat phrases back. She chooses to embrace a certain aspect of herself that is rarely embraced as a wear-touched.
Does she tell me who the other person living inside of her is?
She does not.
Could I?
Would you bring up the issue?
Day would. She would ask, but it would be like if I met them before. Because
she would go to answer and say, now is not the time.
it's fair.
So while all this happens, you spend a night talking with one another in a day, and then sure enough, everyone is drawn outside to this fire raging. As the fire dies down, the rest of the party has convened together and has sort of gathered around. What would you like to do?
Okay, so I've already shared with them kind of that version, and did I also share with Enwin what I saw?
It is complete, it is up to you. It is up to you whether
Okay.
what you shared and who you shared it with.
She would have shared with them something that she was getting memories. She would have shared everything with him.
Okay, Stowe
Everything she saw.
regales to you all what she seen. She asked for a quiet moment, and the two of them head back into the two of you head back into the hut, and there in the hut, you share exactly everything that was in that vision.
I don't know why, and I don't know what's in the seed that's blocking, but I think that's what's affecting your people. I think that you kept saying that they were different, and if everything inside the seed is connected to everything else, then maybe whatever is in that seed or whoever is in that seed is what's blocking, and maybe that's what we need to find out. Because if we plant that seed, we're probably letting whoever is in there out.
Judging by who put them in there, I suspect they'd be more friend to us than enemy. If I'm correct, it's the Red Queen and a being named Puck.
Puck. What makes you think it's Puck?
I might have gone to see the dragon while you were asleep. And
The
by
dragon-
might have, I mean I did.
The-
There's that.
You didn't mention it, and then the dragon said that the Puck is around?
He actually is Puck.
The dragon is Puck.
Yes, you notice how it changed.
Yeah. So you left by yourself last night to go see the dragon by yourself.
Well, you wanted to
and-
keep the seed safe, and you weren't leaving it, and I needed to make sure that it wasn't near the dragon.
Okay. I'm glad you're still alive.
You and me both. And as far as he knows, I don't remember. So
Okay.
that's on us. Or for us, I suppose.
So then you're saying it's better just plant the seed and figure it out once the whatever it is, whoever it is, starts coming out? I mean,
I suspect. Unless you have a better idea.
well, I know I haven't been one for research lately, but this might be the time for it. I mean, there might be somebody here who knows of the histories, who knows of who the Red Queen might want hidden, because it sounds like the Red Queen is putting away gods, is hiding the Cheshire and the other gods, and it's not the first time that the gods have disappeared. And maybe somebody knows something about that.
Maybe. And if somebody knows who would be precious to the Red Queen, that'd be Day. And between Mandrake, we can talk to Cheshire, and we've got the Caterpillar.
Right.
I suspect if we held him at knife point, we could get Grim to talk to the Jabberwock.
And if she puts somebody kind of powerful in there, she's put all the other powerful people, gods, she's put them all somewhere else, and she's put someone specifically in the seed, and we should probably figure out why before we go releasing it, because it might be on our side, but it might just be more powerful than her, but also not good.
It's true.
We wouldn't want someone evil showing up at our party now, would we?
Could be a real problem. But I did say that I'd put it in the ground. I said I would plant the seed, and we're running out of time to make decisions.
Okay.
So we need to figure this out.
Well, then maybe we talk to some people today, and if we're not able to figure it out, we plant the seed and figure out the consequences later.
All right. Who'd you have in mind?
I don't know. We need to talk to the druids. I mean, unless you've talked to somebody specifically.
Not that I could think of.
I'd never burn up your seed.
I suspected not.
Not
I
on
wouldn't have
purpose.
handed it to you if I thought it was in danger.
Okay. I just wanted you to know, because I just did not expect that to happen.
That's actually... do you know what that was?
No.
Maybe we
I mean,
should...
I was just singing
All right.
and then talking.
Maybe we should check with Flint and see if that's a normal thing, if you should be able to control that, or...
Sure.
Because it looked useful. You were growing stuff.
It's true. Yeah. So, yes.
All right.
But yeah, probably before I plant the seed and try to set fire to it, we should probably get some more information.
Hawaii. That's...
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it.
The two of them leave the hut. Where does the rest of the party go after this odd firestorm?
Probably. Well, Grim's probably still hanging out with Mandrake, making sure he's alright.
Yeah, by this point, with very little asking, the gnomes have set up almost a fully functional bar at this point. Each of them has brought a little bottle of liquor, and sure enough, it's almost like a little outside tiki bar. The druids, even the caterpillar, all seem fine with this. So over where the organic gardens are, there's a little tiki bar set up. I imagine the two of you had a little hand in this, so you're over there at that point.
I know you said you were fine. But you're okay, right?
Yes. It had to be done.
I understand that it had to be done. Just next time, you know what, forget it. Just, you did what you thought was necessary for the group, and I support the fact that you were doing it. I don't love the idea, but that's what we have, and that's what was done. So, pick up and we move on, as we've always done.
I think that's fair.
So I'm just gonna hold up it's just a stein of whatever possible, like a beer or whatever, and just to Mandrake. In all his flaws and all his Mandrake. And I'll just take a huge tug.
I'll hold out my hand. I believe you have something that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to a follower of the White Rabbit.
You gave this to me once.
I gave it to you because I thought it belonged to you. They hold power.
And I'll just reach out and I'll just give him the pendant. If this is what you want, then take it. Obviously, it hasn't worked for me.
Cool.
I'll
Said- sorry, go ahead.
I'll put it in my bag and raise my cup. It's here if you need it.
Maybe one day I'll deserve it.
Said they were at the bar.
Yeah.
Princess still with me?
Yeah, Princess is with you. She's sort of, as you walk through the camp, there's a lot of people that come up to her and sort of touch her on the arm, including Tigress. Scar walks over to her at one point, and as he does, they have a sort of whispered conversation to the side. And Princess nods at him and sort of like holds a hand up to you and looks forth to the trees and sort of points at two spots. And he nods his head and sends two people over to those spots in the trees and sets up over there and then turns around and continues to walk with you through the camp.
At that point, we would have head towards the bar as well.
Sure.
Because that's just how Day and Princess are.
Yeah.
And then she would have seen them too and been like, "What in death's name happened to you?"
Do I have enough control to go feline-eyed for a moment?
Don't get me wrong here. You are permanently,
Oh.
for the time being, feline-eyed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just turn and point at my eyes.
Are you pointing with the hand that's also mostly ghostly?
Yeah.
No, I'm pointing with like the regular.
For heaven's sake. Give me your hand.
That's not gonna work.
Not that one. That one's gross. I don't like it. Give me the other one. She'll cast Cure Wounds at 3d8. Or
Sure.
at 3rd level.
Sure.
8.
Roll a d20 for me.
That's a nat 20.
Okay. Everything's fine.
How many?
You take 16.
Thank you. I don't like that we just learned whatever that was.
We didn't learn anything.
We didn't.
Well,
okay,
we
we
didn't.
didn't touch that hand to clarify. We touched his
no.
bone.
This is
Something
any
else.
spell cast on Mandrake. It doesn't matter. It's not the hand. It's him.
Okay.
Okay.
Time to Eldritch Blast Mandrake.
Meet Princess.
We've met, I believe.
Hi. Day has told me a little bit about you, and you're. It's really
See,
creepy.
you
She's
know what
right.
I'm saying?
She's right.
You
It's
get it
really
now.
creepy.
Thank you.
Her
And then look
arm,
at this
like-
one. Like he's kind of cute. Look at him. He's a little shorter now.
This one is cute.
But like he did the, and then he does the thing, and then oh, can we see that? Harvey, no, that's rude. I'm not gonna pull Harvey out. That's rude. But it's so cool when you see it. I promise.
Yeah. I think she just sort of enjoys and lets Day go off on her tirade, doing her way of introducing everyone.
Wait, if she's grabbing like Grim by the chin, like you gotta see him, just like Harvey's like spectral being was like, oh god, like
Oh, does she pull like a Michael J. Fox in The Frighteners? Like
Exactly,
she pulls
it's
this
just
way
like,
and the Harvey's just
hey.
there? Like, yeah. Yeah, it's up to you.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
See, look at the rabbit. Thank you, Harvey. You're so adorable. Love you.
More now.
Well, some of us didn't bring any
Harvey
freaking
closes
justice
his mouth.
tiefling into here. So
Yeah.
Harvey never brought a hating person. But that's none of my business.
Give me a perception check.
I don't even care if she hears me. I don't even care.
Let me know when we get to this group.
You tell me.
23.
Cool. Yeah. She's not too far away.
Cool.
She's sort of leaning up against a tree. Her shield sort of slips a little bit as she as
No.
it drops to the ground.
Excellent. Please.
Yeah.
Do I need to say it louder?
Oh, we're all looking at me now.
Yeah, I think at this point, you two catch up.
Just kinda show up
is
and go.
awake at this point, so you would end up there. So everybody's sitting at this little tiki bar, and as the group convenes, you're a sight to behold. There's the two people that look like they were on fire earlier. There's the girl talking to Princess. There's the guy that's usually covered in blood. And there's the arcane magic user with his fire genasi boyfriend. And the spectral arm guy. Like, the bar clears out. Like, any gnomes or druids that just happen to be hanging out at this point sort of like make their way off into the distance. Justice is not joining the group. She's standing by a tree, and it looks like she's in prayer at the moment. She's just sort of kneeling on the ground. She's got a blanket set up, and she's in prayer.
Cute.
And you guys showed up.
Mm-hmm. Just as she said, somebody who hates Faye.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
none of her business.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It happens.
You guys okay?
We're alright. I suspect.
Do
So
you know
Dad
what's-
did see the fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody did.
Yeah.
Do you know what's happened?
We're actually hoping to talk to Flint about that.
Hi.
Hello. Can you tell us about what happened there?
Sure, she got emotional. It happens sometimes with us fire genasi. That's why I tend to remain somewhat calm and cool and aloof in a sexy way, right, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when my temper gets up there, big bada boom, like fire. So you'll find that fire genasi tend to go to one of two different ways. There's not a bunch of us, but I assume that they're either like emotional all the time, burn through my clothes, or sort of chill and relaxed and calm and keeping things under control. She got emotional. I've never seen the green flame before. That's new.
It made plants grow.
Okay, that's weird, but no weirder than any other day for us.
Yeah.
So,
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes. You just got emotional. So and that tends to happen. I know you're sort of new to the game. The more riled up you get or emotional, the brighter the flame is going to burn. Think of it as emotional kindling to a fire.
Okay. So, when you get emotional and your flames go poof, does that like burn things around you? Like, I don't know, entire lands or kingdoms?
I mean, I stubbed my toe once. I don't think
That was bad.
that
bad.
sucked. Yeah, I accidentally burned a cat. To be fair, the cat was an asshole, but like we healed him later. He was fine. But it's fine. No, I've never gotten so angry that I burned the entire kingdom.
Well, I mean, just stuff like maybe I don't know, like something around like your flames don't make things grow; they make things burn.
Yeah.
But I don't know if mine does both, or just makes things grow.
Chloe, I wish.
Should I get angry and try this?
Mm.
Chloe, has anything happened? I mean, before your fire has been fire,
Yes.
has anything changed within the past few days?
Does anyone look the same?
Give me an investigation check.
I'm good at that. Never mind.
I
13.
bonded with Edmund Seed.
You bonded with it.
Well, I mean, I slept with it.
Have you noticed anything different?
Well, I was burning earlier, but
And
and then I'm gonna check. Do I notice anything different about myself?
Give me an insight check. It's a self-insight, so I'll say, would he have this at advantage? You tell me. How self-analytical is Edwin? From what I know of him, not
Yeah, I was like,
very much.
No. That is a 14.
Okay. He asked, "Can I see the seed?" I promise I'll be.
I would have handed it back to you already, probably
Okay.
in all of our conversation. Like
Okay.
she wouldn't be like, "Rah, here."
Do me a favor, sweetie. Just
So-
behind me, hands on my shoulders.
okay.
Okay.
Is this just a back rub? Because I'm fine if it's just a back rub.
No, but later, please.
Okay.
And puts the hands on the shoulders, and then he grabs the seed and begins to cast.
No.
Okay.
No.
You stop him. You smack the seed
Yes.
out of his hand.
Yes,
Okay.
you would stop him too, right?
I mean, we're trying to figure it out. I would have
Because
let it
the
go.
last time
I would have let
somebody
it go
cast it-
until it looked like it was going to react.
Yeah. The last time somebody cast a spell on it, it hurt them.
Okay.
It has defenses.
Okay. How about this instead? Knowing that, he sets the seed on the ground, backs away a few steps, and begins.
With my hand on him, I'm casting mage armor on him since I'm touching him.
He was like, I don't need it, thank you so much. And begins to cast away from the seed, almost around the ground that's there.
Okay.
He goes, he takes a step back and he goes, huh. Okay. Trying to figure out, powerful magical items. You all have them, right? Like you all have items that are way outside of the realm of possibility. Now, not everybody can use these. You actually have to take time to get to know them, and it's almost like a feeling out sort of thing, where you can only have so many of them. The reason that is because these are tied into your life force, like your soul, and not only is it drawing power from part of you, it's almost accepting who you are. So this seed is like a major one of those, right? Like it's one of those things that's like simultaneously drawing power, but projecting power out at the same time, but unlike anything I've ever seen before. So what I think is happening is it's acting as a bridge. And a lot of stuff can cross from the bridge, but it's crossing in two different directions. He's made of the earth, but not of the earth, and your flame being changed because you're opening up to the seed might be just you opening yourself up to a seed. Phrasing, nice. But the stuff that he's feeling with the fire and this, you two are more than welcome to continue to go down this path you're going. But I say this with the entire certainty behind my magical schooling. Me no know what's going to happen. I don't know what is happening between the two of you other than you're getting a little bit of his essence and you're getting a little bit of her essence.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay?
So we both burst into flames. Great.
It'll be green,
For you.
and you'll grow things.
No, earlier when I was burning, it was just fire.
That being said, I had an idea, and it's kind of stupid.
Oh, we have lots of those.
Yeah.
We need answers, right? We need a lot of answers, and you could ask around, and I'm sure that you guys can think of something else. The way I see it, there's a couple of different paths. We could go to Dimitri's. He seems like he has a bunch of information, and some of you might have pocket change to spend. You'd have to make your way through the city, but that's not the biggest library that I know of.
You had me at library.
The biggest library I know of is where we're from. It's in Overton, and I've been working with the caterpillar a little bit, and I think I have a spell that could get you there, and I think I can teach it to Nyx, and we can set up a circle here, but you'd have to go to the other side of the continent, do your research, and then come back. Now, that's just an option. I mean,
How safe is it there?
oh, not. Yeah.
If I'm there, I mean, no. This isn't gonna do enough to disguise me there. That's for sure.
Well,
I mean, it's been 5 years,
I can.
but
No,
still.
I'm good at disguising people.
I also have the ability to disguise
Well, I
somebody.
can disguise myself. I'm saying it's gonna be dangerous.
it's going to be dangerous either way, wherever you go, but it's just an option that I wanted to present. The library is expansive. We still have people that we know in the castle grounds.
Yeah.
Is Fridrin there?
I
mean, if
don't
he's not
know.
with it.
I don't have the ability to
You know him better
look
than I do.
in on people from miles and miles away. Do we know of anyone here that has the ability to look in on somebody miles and miles away?
I'm really. That's something I've been working on. I think I could do it. I mean, I've never done it before, but I think I could do it.
And what are the chances that he finds out that you're doing it to him?
Well, like I said, I've never done it before. I mean, there's of course a chance that he could figure it out,
Work
but
on the check.
Ooh, this would be nice. 27.
Yeah. There's always a chance. There's always a chance, and not only that, but if he's a strong enough magic user, he can swat it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's. really
Because I
dangerous.
haven't met him.
You've met him.
Yeah, you have.
You
Oh,
have
okay.
in the house.
Got it. Yes. So okay, there's a chance.
But still, I don't know if it's worth it. Right now, at least, we're dealing with all this in wonder and going to add Overland's problems into it right now. We only have 30 days. I mean, do we want to add that whole mess in? I mean, it's been a year. Maybe they'll keep quiet long enough for us to fix this problem.
Yeah, but a library.
It's not just a library. It's a big ass library.
Yeah, but a big ass library.
How far would the library be away from the is it like in the castle?
Transportation Circle is actually located in sort of the academic side of things. Scholars from all over Wonder would take this Transportation Circle.
But I mean, the library specifically, is it near the castle or is it far away from the castle?
It's more of a campus. This area is
Campus,
huge.
okay.
So it's not in the castle proper. It's a little, it's closer towards the entrance.
But still in Overland.
But still in Overland.
Okay.
Yeah. Overton is like the central hub.
Yeah.
It's located in Overton. Overland is sort of the all-encompassing, all the towns and the people
Gotcha.
and stuff like that live there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's right in that. You're gonna be back home, but you're gonna be hard pressed. You will find information. You know off the top of your head that Dimitri's is clever, and he's got resources and stuff like that. You are gonna have to choose whether you're gonna risk the Red Keep or you're gonna risk going into Overland.
If I may weigh in, maybe it's not the wisest to go to one of the largest collections of knowledge on the continent right after you got emotional and burst into flames.
To be fair, the flames didn't burn anything.
You
That's
made
true.
things grow. And I'm really good with libraries. You want to get me calm and happy and super chill?
I can
just
think
put
of
me
at
in a library.
least a dozen times when I showed you a book and you screamed with joy.
Yes, but it was calming joy.
Princess will turn to you and be like, "Do they always get this excited about libraries?"
This and so many other things.
The
Sometimes
other-
it's not even a good excited. I can't even explain it. I wish they'd just drink some alcohol and call it a day. That's what we used to do. Oh, you were underage. You can't bring that up. Oh, sorry. See, he gets
I
it.
think Princess also has a drink as well. And
Oh, she.
yes, absolutely.
If you don't feel safe about the library, which we are going to have to go to at some point, I'm
I-
just establishing this.
I don't think we do well at fitting in.
I mean,
I feel like we are a pretty odd bunch.
Counter
especially-
proposal, you don't go.
I feel like we've spent enough time.
There is nothing unusual about travelers coming in, and I certainly don't look anything like my former self. I could take a small contingent, and you could stay here. If the eyes of the court are on anyone, they're on you.
We could go to Dimitri's, you can go to the library, we can cover both bases at the same time.
Do you feel it wise that we separate?
Do you ever get to ask anybody if something's wise?
I
He's got you
love
there.
him. Good choice.
That's Harvey talking.
Sure.
All right. Well, that being said, who here is feeling feisty and would like to go to a brand new place with the biggest library you've ever seen, with me as your handsome gray fox guide? That's Thoe.
Someone's got to go. And I'm not taking the seat there.
Thoey,
Oh,
I'm not leaving it.
Mandrake. This is fine. We can do a small grouping. Who would like to go to Dimitri's?
I'll go.
There's always fun stuff at Dimitri's.
Enwin.
I think I'm
Great.
stuck with the second party.
Grim. Day, dear.
Well, to make it even, I'll go to the library.
Well, someone can stay here and watch the scene, unless one of you is bringing
It's
it with.
taking it with me. It's coming with me.
If
Perfect. So, just so I'm aware, Thoey, Mandrake, myself, are going to
The
Overton.
library.
In library. Day, which way are you going?
Do you have something to say, dear?
I was just going to say that if you would like to go to Dimitri's, a smaller party would be less noticeable. It's up to you. Do what you feel is right.
I do miss that Russian bastard. Dimitri's it is.
Dimitri's it is. Thoey, Mandrake, and Flint are headed towards the library, and Enwin, Grim, Nix, and Day, you are headed to Dimitri's. I love it when a plan comes together. I will start working on the transportation circle. And sweetie, come with me. We can copy it into your spell book as we get it set up. And there is a flurry. That was Caterpillar.
It was okay.
Yep. There is a flurry of movement as Flint takes a shot, downs it. There's a little burst of flame, and he goes over and heads over to an area where there's already looks like to be an arcane sigil. This may have been Flint. Like this was the plan. He just wanted to convince you to go along with it. But the arcane circle is already being situated.
Day, a moment.
I'll be back, princess.
She nods. She's getting more and more distracted. You're noticing that as you sit, more and more people are coming up to her and whispering in her ear, and she seems to be pointing people in a direction or saying something to them, scribbling down something on a piece of paper, and sending them off. But it's occurring with more frequency as the night goes on.
Okay.
So as you say, I'll be back in a moment, she goes, yes, of course, absolutely. She's talking to someone else.
A couple of things. First, while you're at Dimitri's, could you give him this? And I will hand her the ring of the giant killer. And to begin paying off my debt.
The cost of this thing is... He's gonna ask. You know he's gonna ask.
And it's
He'll
not
know.
going to
He'll
matter
know.
what we say.
That's fair.
The other thing, my hat seems to have a new skill. It can absorb magic
Can absorb
and cast at will.
and cast at will.
Last time I cast Fog Cloud, I noticed the magic came from the hat.
Okay. Alright, I'm okay.
Just in case it's needed.
Are you saying the magic came from the hat the same way my magic comes from my ukulele?
Yes.
So you're saying this is your focus?
Dave, give me an Arcana check.
21.
The way he's describing it, it's either sounding like a focus or something that you had on your possession at one point, the ring of the Ioun Stone, where you could store spells in and sort of release them outward.
Okay. Do you know how many spells it knows?
I think it can hold one.
One.
Could you possibly, in case it's needed, give me a way to heal us or hide us or whatever you think would be the most effective? I can always, fill a room with fog, but if someone gets hurt,
So you...
I only ask because I know we will most likely rest before we go out on this journey.
At the DM's permission, I'm going to hand him a healing potion.
Okay.
And then I'm going to hand him my kazoo
Okay.
that has given us a DM inspiration.
Okay, so you're not going to cast any healing spells into the hat. You're handing him a healing potion and the kazoo.
Do you want me to cast a healing spell?
I mean,
That's what you're...
that
You know, if you're going to ask something, you should just ask it how you want it.
I thought I was clear. I'm sorry. I didn't.
No.
I wasn't trying to dance
You're
around.
still doing the
issue.
healing potion on the kazoo?
I'm still going to give him the... Yeah, I'm still going to give him the healing potion.
Okay. What is it, a regular healing potion or a greater healing
Yeah,
potion?
it's just a regular healing
Okay,
potion.
you get a regular healing potion. What healing spell are you casting into the hat?
I haven't decided if I want to do that yet. I need to figure out if that's something Day would do.
Okay.
No offense.
While you think about that, everybody settles down for a long rest that evening. So go ahead and mark a long rest
Okay.
to recoup spell slots and things of that sort.
If I get a
First
chance,
level?
I've got a really quick question for the caterpillar, because it was going to be for Flint, but if the caterpillar's around, he'd be a better person to ask.
Sure. Let's get to here first.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you? So you don't know whether you want to cast or not. Does she express that?
Does it take a first level? It just takes one first level?
I don't really know how much magic it can hold, so I know that I have one spell.
No, she wouldn't.
Okay.
And you get these. Because so far, and no offense to you, you're a little unpredictable. So even a healing spell could go AWire.
Mandrake,
Sure.
Mandrake looks a little funny
Mhm.
for just 2 seconds as his eyes narrow. It's a really quick thing. It's just not a look that he normally gives, as Mandrake's eyes just sort of narrow at you and his head like cocks to the side. It's a very foreign movement. But afterwards, he sort of comes back and
But
he goes,
she notices it.
"Sure. Oh yeah, he doesn't do anything to hide it, but it's a foreign movement for him. It's almost a confused like, I don't understand you, and then he's back to going, sure, yeah, absolutely.
But she would still give him the kazoo with the advantage if that's something she can offer.
I would leave the kazoo, take the potion. I have my own.
Okay.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Okay. The rest of you, go ahead and settle down for the evening. Flint, go ahead and copy the spell teleportation circle into your spell book. You know the location for here in the grove. And after you are done with him that night, you know the sigil for Overton. If you spend a little bit of time with Dimitri, he might have access to several other teleportation sigils across Wonder and beyond.
I'd like to also cast Ascending when I have the chance.
Sure. Let's. What was your question for the caterpillar? Let's go over there.
Caterpillar, you said a long time ago that I was the last of the fire genasi, the only fire genasi, but that's not true, because we know of one more. He's right here. What did you mean by that?
What are you talking about?
Well, Flint.
What about Flint?
Well, is there only one? Is he?
What are you saying?
Well, he's a fire genasi, correct?
Flint?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Well, that's what he says he is.
I have spent a great deal of time with him, though. He's
Well,
not.
what is he?
I don't know. He looks vaguely, like a human or an elf. I've never thought to ask. I assure you, he's not a fire genasi. I've spent plenty of time with him, magically speaking, and communing and talking.
He was just talking to me about.
Does he appear as a
Being-
fire genasi
yes.
to you? Has he identified himself as such?
Yes.
Huh. He will turn and face Flint, who is currently drawing a teleportation circle, and his eyes will narrow and get a bit cloudy as he looks over at Flint and goes, huh. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
You're welcome. Well, I guess I'm gonna look for an opportunity to talk to him at one point, or some point, or
Yeah,
something.
He's not too far away.
Okay, sorry guys. Hey, so you were just talking to me about being a fire genasi earlier?
Yes.
I'm there, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Flint and
that's
Nix.
fine.
Yeah.
He can say whatever he wants in front of you. Okay, I'm really confused, and I'm trying to be a trustworthy person here, but why would you tell me that you are, and the caterpillar would say that you're definitely not, and
What do you saw? What?
fire genasi?
I'm fire, Janasi.
Who?
The red fire flows through my blood. I'm connected to the element of fire. Like I'm.
Why is this so hard?
Wait, the caterpillar says he's not.
Flint will break away from the circle and immediately go over to where the caterpillar is.
Then
No, he stops drawing and puts a hand up, and as he does, his normally like calm demeanor is gone as his skin flames a little bit as he heads over to where the caterpillar is, and they are in conversation. Looks very in depth. Anybody else around at this point?
I wouldn't be far.
Wouldn't be far. Day is with Princess.
She's living for, well,
Is Day with Princess or is Day with around?
weren't they like already like going? They were leaving?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she would be with a group then.
Well, like, okay.
Because if we're all in a group together.
No, you and Mandrake are not there. So, because you've walked off and had this
Oh,
conversation, and this
yeah.
is happening in tandem. So, Day is not there to read the lips. There is an in-depth conversation that happens between Flint and the caterpillar. As people begin to approach, like if you guys are within distance, it looks like it's in whispered tones. Anybody can try to get a little bit closer, but it looks like it's being whispered and an in-depth conversation between the caterpillar and Flint.
I'm giving him his
I mean-
space.
Okay.
I would have headed back. I would be on my way back. Like,
Okay. Yeah. The
It's-
two of them are talking and they're having this in-depth conversation.
okay, she's gonna go ahead and try to do that then.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if that scale will help me or not, but I don't think it will. I think it's
No.
just written words.
I'm gonna send Charlotte.
Okay.
Invisible.
Okay.
Just gonna creep over.
Charlotte goes over. Day, you're sort of walking by and you see two people arguing and you're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm like,
Gossip?
oh.
Yeah, like, Day, you are able to pick up, unless anybody else has a different way, Day, you are standing a far distance away and you're seeing Flint and the caterpillar involved in conversation. Midway through the conversation, the caterpillar changes into a short, squat man, a little balding on top. It's one of the humanoid appearances that the caterpillar has not taken in front of all of you, but sort of takes on this appearance wearing this green shirt. And he's like, I don't know what to say to you, Flint. You've never appeared as such to me. And Flint will return, what do you mean I don't appear as? This is who I am. We've had conversations going on into the night. And Caterpillar goes, yes, but I've never seen that side of you. I don't know what it is. When I look at you, I don't see that. I see, where are your people? Where are you from? And Flint goes, that doesn't matter where I'm from or who my people are. You know me. We've talked into the night. I've been a member of the conversation. Our talks doesn't, the color of my skin doesn't change who I am or what I am. And the caterpillar goes, I know, it's odd that this would be hidden from me and that you would become close and I would become close, and I don't know what sort of magics would allow anything to get in the way of that. And Flint goes, oh, magics? And this, as soon as he says the magics that would come in the way of this, Flint begins to cast. He begins a ritual casting. He starts tracing sigils into the ground, and the caterpillar goes, what are you doing? And he traces these sigils into the ground. He spends some time doing a ritual, and the caterpillar
Message to Flint, is everything alright?
puts a hand up, and his hand ignites and stops. And
I
just
cast
It's casting.
Calm emotions.
Okay. What is the save for calm emotions?
Do you, it is a charisma of 15.
Okay. She starts casting.
I'm running towards the caterpillar, the bark skin thing that do I even still have that
Yeah.
crap?
She starts casting. Do you let her cast?
I trust her.
Okay. Cool. As his emotions calm, he's still continuing to cast.
I'm approaching.
Okay.
I don't care if he's casting, I just don't want him to erupt in flame.
What's going on?
Something's wrong.
Yeah, but what are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out why he can't see me for what I am.
Okay, what are you casting?
I'm casting detect magic.
Alright.
I can do that. Detect magic.
Okay. He looks at you and goes, okay, what do you see? You see thin lines of magic that surround everyone, surrounding the objects and things like that. Everybody sees detect magic in a different way. Though sees it in shades of colors, vibrant flowers and things of that sort. When you cast detect magic, you see it as small strands. You see it Charlotte playing around with the threads that connect us and bind us. Mandrake, from all the way across the way, has a small gold thread that is coming from him and wrapping around Flint and then wrapping around the caterpillar. And it's the only thread that, as he's having this conversation and he's right up against the caterpillar and casting, there is a it is a bright, like pulsating thing. Mandrake's not even here, but you see him sort of off by the bar after the conversation with Dave. He's like, I need one more drink before bed. And you see this gold thread from Mandrake wrapping around Flint a few times, and then going to wrap around the caterpillar another few times. And as Flint is furiously drawing and the caterpillar is just sort of staring at Flint, this thread is pulsating.
Somehow you and the caterpillar and Mandrake are all connected.
The caterpillar looks at you, looks over at Mandrake, looks back at Flint. It's not you. I'm sorry. It's not you.
She would drop calm emotions too.
The caterpillar will turn away from the conversation because you're wonderful. I'm really sorry. And he will go over to that golden, that stone pedestal and begin to chrysalis.
What?
He will begin to just form over just a chrysalis, like a cocoon.
She's gonna run up. What is going on? You gotta talk to me. What is going on?
I made a mistake with you. When you love someone, when you truly love someone, sometimes you have to do things that prevent them from hurting themselves.
Is this about you making me a furbolg?
Yeah, it is. And the
But-
cocoon will like start to close over his mouth.
But what were you wrong about? Am I the last? Is he the last? Are we both the last? Is he?
Insight check, Zoe.
Ah. No, it's like 10.
Something about Flint and you is connected. And it's not just the fire genasi aspect of things.
Okay. Good thing we're going on a walkabout. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be... Is he dangerous or is he a friend?
Flint's a friend.
You hear a message. Don't make the same mistake I did. The love of my life had to prevent me from making the same mistake twice. he hid the truth from me of who Flint was so I could get to know Flint and not the Fire Genasi. You're supposed to live your life, Thoey. You're supposed to live your life.
Okay.
This is said to Thoey, but you do recognize the chaotic magics that sometimes surround Cheshire, emanating from Mandrake, his connection and tether to this world, and circling around Flint, and circling around the caterpillar. Okay. Flint is a little disgusted with the whole situation, and foregoes the ceremony and begins to continue to work on the teleportation circle. He goes, why don't everyone rest, and tomorrow we'll set off.
Okay.
Yeah. You're sending.
Yes.
Who are you sending to?
Which one do I want to send to? Which one's the older one? Between Duncan and Chris?
Duncan.
Duncan, then Duncan.
My boy.
Yeah.
Hey, would appreciate your help. Have something powerful. I feel
Portal opens up in the center of camp.
isn't safe to on me.
As you continue sending, they step through the portal, and he does this sign like
Damn,
continue.
that was fast.
Continue going.
I'm out of words.
He goes. He's standing in front of you, and you hear the words, "I'll be right there."
Thanks.
What do you got, kid?
It's been a while for you, I'm assuming.
I've been all over the place. You would not believe the places that are opening up.
Been to hell yet?
Not today. I went to hell, but it was in Montana one time.
Yeah.
And then I went to this island. Whew, man. A bunch of kids running around. It's probably the closest I've been to hell since.
Anyways.
I don't do well with kids. Sorry, that was too much information.
No,
what
I
do you
have
got?
this, well, it seems like it'd be right up your alley.
Yep.
It's called the Amulet of the Plains.
Duncan will reach for it. As he does, he'll take off his glasses
Hand it to him.
and he'll sort of look at it. He's like, "This is powerful stuff. Where'd you
Yeah.
get this?"
Found it.
Fair. What do you want for it?
I was just thinking it wouldn't be safe here. I mean,
Good for you, kid.
if you want to
No.
help us out, I'd appreciate it.
No, this is great. Here, take one of these. I've been saving it for a rainy day. And he'll reach into his bag, and as he pulls it out, he'll hold out a white bag to you, and it says Dunkin's Donuts on it, and I'll go, no, that's not it, and I'll stuff it back in the messenger bag, and instead he'll pull out a blue crystal. And this blue crystal is about yay big, and it's inscribed with yellow sort of lettering that go all over the blue crystal. And he goes, "I've been saving this for a rainy day, okay? It's a one-time use. Cheers."
What does it do?
Summons an ally.
I'll take it.
They're big.
Okay.
They fight for us.
Well, I would hope so.
Yes. Yeah, it's a planar ally. When you do a lot of planar stuff, it's good to have friends. So, yeah, throw it on the ground, crack it open, and help is on the way.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I can do a lot of good with this.
Yeah. If you need anything from me, I'm happy to help.
Things good here. I kind of have stuff that we're handling, but do you need anything?
I mean, no worse than usual, which is bad, but you know.
All right. Well, let me know.
Quick question, and I'll hold out my arm. Do you know anything about this kind of stuff?
No, not at all. However, this is more Chris's field. You have someone that you want me to hit with a hammer, I'm good with that. How about this? Chris and I are a little busy. You gonna be here for a few days?
We're actually going out of town, but we should be back soon.
2 days. Chris and I will show back up. He can do his whole book learning thing.
If I'm somewhere else, I can just let you know in 2 days.
Sounds good.
All right.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Yeah, of course. Good luck, kid. He'll put the glasses back on, look around the field at all the druids, see the big cocoon and everybody sort of lined up, and he'll see Day over at the bar, and he's like, well, I could have one drink. And he closes the portal and heads over to the bar and takes the glasses back off and sits at the bar and has a few drinks with everybody. You guys all take a long rest at this point. Health points, spell slots, everything's refilled back up. In the morning, you are greeted to a somewhat surly looking Flint, who's up bright and early that morning. This is not your fault. I've been waiting for at least one person to bring it up. And from the jump of the campaign, it's not your fault. I see this look on your face. It's fine. Nobody's brought it up. Nobody said anything. This is the first time anybody's referred to the other fire genasi in the room to the caterpillar.
Okay.
Cool. Thoe, Mandrake, and Flint, you make your way over to a circle that is inscribed in the far corner. The rest of you begin the journey out of the forest and to Dimitri's. I imagine that you get a little bit of air support as some of the druids wild shape and in giant eagle form carry you to a safe spot. I'm gonna due to what is happening, I'm gonna forego narrating like stealth checks and things of that sort and say that you were dropped fairly close to the mouth and you start making your way towards Dimitri's. Let's start with Thoe, Mandrake, and Flint as you make your way over to this teleportation circle. Step through the circle and find yourselves in a stone room.
Wait, what happened with Flint?
Oh, he's with you. He's going with.
Okay.
Flint is going
Okay.
with you. Flint, Thoe,
I'm sorry, I'm
Mandrake.
just so nervous now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flint, Thoe, and Mandrake. You guys
Okay.
find yourself in a stone circle. There are tapestries hung about the wall in a that look to be the royal symbol for Overtown or Overland. And as you look at these symbols and sort of move about the space, a very squat young man walks in. He's a husky boy, but he's a good boy. He's got long blonde hair that's sort of in a messy bun on top of the head. His eyes are glowing, very similar to Duncan's, but these are glowing a bright blue color. As these eyes glow a bright blue color, he's in what looks to be like regular brown robes, and he comes to the door and he goes, welcome to Overland, home of the shit. And he looks over at Flint, and he smiles, and he runs over to where Flint is and just wraps him up in a big hug. And he goes, all right, knock it off in front of the new people. And he like smiles at everybody, and he gives a big wave. His cheeks get a little like red and ruddy from just running over from the door to there. And he goes, hi, it's nice to meet you guys. I'm Kit. I'm one of the keepers of the library here. Oh man, they've been looking for you. And he's so enamored to have Flint in his presence. And Flint's like, yeah, but you don't know me while we're here. And King goes, oh yeah, I don't know you. How is he? Is he good? He's like, yeah, he's good. He's real good. Yeah. And he's like, and you too, have you? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I knew it. Yes. Anyway, welcome to the library, guys. And Kit will walk over to the door and he'll go to push it open and it doesn't work, and then he realizes you got to pull it. He goes, sorry, I never get used to that. Welcome to the library. Please enjoy your stay here. There's a restricted section. It does cost money to use the library. It costs about 10 gold pieces an hour, but I think we can waive that just for the first couple of hours. But if you're going to stay the past a couple hours, I might have to take it just in case any of the other older librarians come by. The first, second, and third floors are sort of historical. The fourth floor is more arcane and theoretical, and the fifth floor is fiction and random. They let me run the fifth floor. It's pretty great. I got some good books up there. I just added a cookbook. I love cooking. Do you guys have any questions?
No. How do we track down specific books? I mean, do you have a card catalog system, or
I'm so glad
is it-
you asked. And he leads you over to this small card catalog. He's like, now for the first years when the library was built, we used a card catalog, but we kept getting new tomes, and books sometimes change, and especially some of the older ones. Like, history doesn't change, but the way we store books definitely does. So we got rid of the card catalog a long time ago. No, it's okay. We found a much better system, and he leads you past the card catalog and over to this shelving unit that is chock-a-block with birds. Just like birds on the bottom shelf, birds of every shape and form. Owls, canaries, partridges, like parrots, like all sorts of different birds that sort of line these shelves. And he goes, what you want to do is make friends. They aren't actually birds. They are familiars. Each one belonging to a different librarian here, and they have a lot of the basic information. So the librarians can keep studying, but they can look through the bird and sort of direct you towards where you want to go.
So we just ask the birds for the book we want, or the type or genre of books that we want, and they can just lead us there?
Right. And that way you don't have egg on your face. I never get to tell that joke. Yes, yeah, you just ask the birds, and the birds will help you.
Okay, are there any particular birds who are more helpful? Are there any who are bird-brained?
That's good. Oh my god, I'm gonna steal that. She's great. She's great. She's great. And he goes, yeah.
No offense to the birds, sorry guys.
Archimedes is pretty good.
Okay.
He's been around a really long time. Don't talk to Terry. Terry's a little ornery, and he spends the majority of his time in the bathroom. So don't talk to Terry. Archimedes is good. Perry's not bad. Who else do we have? Timothy. Tim is good. And he just starts like pointing out random birds
Okay,
to you.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. If you guys need anything, I will be over here at the front desk. And Kit sort of waves at you guys and sort of toddles over to the desk and takes out a tome himself and begins to flip through the pages.
Okay,
What are we researching?
I'm going to call over Archimedes,
Okay.
and explain to him that I want to. I know this will probably be on the first floor. I'm trying to find more about the history of Wonderland, about the last time that the gods disappeared, specifically the Mad Hatter, but there may have been others too.
Archimedes cocks his head and looks at you and takes you up towards the first floor, but takes you to the first stack in the first floor and sort of directs you over to an area. With Archimedes' help, all of your investigation checks are going to be made at advantage, but here is the trade-off.
Okay.
Anytime you research a book, you're letting somebody at the library know, I'm looking up the time where all the gods disappeared.
Right.
So here's the trade-off. You can choose not to share that information and make the investigation check yourself, or depending on who this person is, someone knows that you're researching the gods disappeared.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So give me an investigation check at advantage.
For an essay.
That is a.
It's for an essay.
That's a 17.
17. Yeah, I think you were able to find one of the first few books in the stacks is a sort of the history of Wonderland and the gods therein. This section looks very heavily used. I mean, these books are written a long time ago, and there's several volumes. You pull the first 1 through 4 volumes off the shelf and sit down at a table and start pouring through the books. What are you researching, Mandrake?
I would actually follow Zoe
Okay.
and ask, anything in particular you want me to look up?
Well, I mean, honestly, this is the most important thing right now. This is the most pressing matters. We need to figure out what's going on and what the Red Queen's motives are and what she might be doing. I mean, can you think of anything else that we needed as much as this? Or close?
Do you think maybe a layout of the castle?
Oh, that's probably a good idea. I mean, Dave probably knows it pretty well, but it certainly wouldn't help to have more information. Wouldn't hurt. Words are hard. Sometimes I'm really, really focused on these books.
No.
Either that, or I can look up some alchemic recipes, but I don't think I need those with Bartholomew. Or possibly any mention of EC.
Would it be bad if we did some research on our own on Fire Genasi
EB.
in Wonderland?
Hmm?
Would it be bad if we did some research on our own on Fire Genasi in Wonderland?
Is Flint standing nearby?
No, I wouldn't have said that with him.
No,
there.
Oh,
Flint,
okay.
Flint is busy in conversation with Kit.
Okay. I mean, it might not be bad to find out where they all went. I mean, except for the two of you, of course.
Probably.
Can I use can I use Archimedes? Or do I need to go down and get another bird?
Absolutely, you can. You go over to where Archimedes is, and you ask for any information regarding Fire Genasi and what happened to them. Once again, the bird gives an odd little nod of its head, and Archimedes will fly over to the 3rd floor. You will find give me an investigation check at advantage using Archimedes' help as you begin to search for this
17.
book. 17. Yeah, once again, it takes a while, and actually you don't know if it's fun, but you find this blackened book with gold around the edges, almost resembling that of a charred book, as you sit down at a table and begin to read through the history of the Fire Genasi and what happened to them at the very beginning of Wonderland. While you two have those books and are doing a bit of research, let's head to Dimitri's. You head over to Dimitri's. The first sight that you were greeted to are the cartoonish-like figures of Grimm and Mandrake Madigan welcoming people into Dimitri's shop. The shop has gotten, if believable, it hasn't gotten bigger, it's just gotten streamlined. Right now, there are shopkeepers that sort of walk around all wearing the same purple tunic, and as they begin to move about the space, there are no display shelves anymore. There are pictures and books and things of that sort, and people will talk to someone, and then the person will reach to the side, the shopkeep, and as they reach to the side and pull their hand back, they will have the item in their hand. Sometimes the item is much larger than their hand. They'll reach out, they'll pull their hand away, they'll place this small item on the floor, and the item will grow to a large size. You are now in Dimitri's shop.
Is that Grim a while back, or is that Grim present?
That is Grimm a while back. It is Grimm the moment he made his deal with Dimitri about a year and some odd weeks ago.
He's just gonna more so just I guess investigate the guy in the caricature, the guy in the costume
Sure.
of Grimm.
It's cartoonish. It's Grimm drawn by Matt Groening, almost he's got long teeth and things of that sort. Sometimes I slash savings. It's
Scruff McGruff kind of thing.
Scruff McGruff.
Sure. It's funny how you can look like that and never have walked a minute in my shoes.
Who are you saying this to? You're just saying this
guy
out loud?
the guy in the costume or.
There's no costume, it's just print ads. But as you say that out loud, sure enough, there's a... And Dimitri pops up behind you and says, yes, it is rather weird to be able to capture someone this closely and not walk in their shoes.
And it's funny how you can choose to use my likeness.
You signed contract.
And did I not pay my debt?
You did. Would you like me to not use this anymore?
No, but...
You
at
just
least-
needed to say.
No, just use me in the correct light. and like he'll have like just Harvey kind of present himself a little bit more. So it kind of gets rid of like that wolf feature and kind of like present Harvey more of like a different light.
Dimitri smiles, and it's a smile that looks somewhat genuine. And then he goes, "You just want me to capture your likeness the right way."
Listen, you've seen me in, say, other forms.
Stop. Enough said. You would be surprised how often my image is used incorrectly. He waves his hand, and all of the cartoonish images sort of change and become that of Grimm now. But it's Grimm wearing like a suit with bunny ears,
Sure.
and he's holding a cup of tea. And he's like, the proper way to shop is Dimitri's, and he's got like the white in the beard and things of that sort.
Dimitri, may I ask you? I believe Mandrake may still owe a debt.
Oh yes, so many penalties. He's like a year and something late.
Okay, well, how much would you say that Mandrake owes you? Ballpark.
Probably a ballpark. That's just probably
Okay, if you could put a monetary value upon it, what would it be?
not sure. Hello, Dave.
Hello. Wow, that was weird. That was.
You just said
I just-
something
hello.
fine. It is fun to talk like this. I
It's
understand.
very fun. Yes. To piggyback off of the Mandrake debt, he wanted me to give this to you towards his debt.
Ah, thank you.
Yes.
He will take it and look at it and then flip his hand, and as he does, the ring will disappear into the ether.
Now, the ring is one thing. How much more does he owe?
A lot of money. I can discuss it with him, but I do not feel comfortable. Your alliances change like the passing of the tide. Like some days you are like, we are best friends, we go to hell, and then there are other days like, I hate you.
Could we settle
not
up for
wrong.
15,000 gold pieces?
His original debt was 30,000.
You also had the ring, though, is that not correct?
It was, and then you add a
On
year of
top.
late fees. This is asking to borrow 20 gold and then paying me back with 5?
But he's also.
Notice the question mark that I added in.
I understand the inflection. But he also had been places.
He's been places.
We took a
Quite a
short
few
trip to
places.
hell.
Hello.
Hello there.
A short trip to hell.
A short trip.
Did you bring me back anything?
Well, I didn't bring anything.
If it's possible, I wish to reconsider his debt to 15,000 gold pieces. Now, in addition to the ring.
Do you have anything to offer alongside the ring?
My 15,000 gold pieces.
Let me rephrase. Let's play a fun game. There is a pile of 15,000 gold pieces. We can wave to the pile. We can even draw a little smiley face on pile.
Yes.
It is our friend.
Sure.
This pile needs more friends to play with. Do you have other friends for pile to play with?
What would it take for Mandrake to be out of your debt?
Make me an offer.
Myself.
Continue.
I will give you one favor.
Do you understand exactly what that means?
One
Because I
favor.
feel like you're off making deals left and right. And you need to understand that
He gave us.
He gave us what?
Done.
You're an idiot.
Debt paid in full, completely, 100% done. He is off the hook from me. Deal?
Deal.
There is a shake, and the lights in the store like dim, and then he smiles and says, what's the worst that can happen? You've already been to hell, right?
And
Oh, he didn't go.
He didn't go.
No, he
No.
abandoned us.
Yep.
Good. I can pop your cherry. Now, what else would you like to do while you're here in my store? I do not think this is pleasure visit. Nix, you are oddly quiet.
That's just interesting to see how quickly he can make a deal like that.
You would be surprised what people do for pack,
More in heaven and earth, Horatio.
and are dreamt of in your philosophy. How can I help?
Where'd you hear that?
Where'd I hear what?
That phrase.
More things in heaven and earth that are dreamt of in your philosophy?
That's the one.
I seen a book. Would you like it?
I would, actually.
Oh, that's great. How much gold do you have?
How much is it worth to you?
I think it is worth the first 3 letters of your name.
Oh, good try. Good try.
First 2,
Not. You can have none of them.
How's 1,000 gold?
done. He will manifest a copy of William Shakespeare. I will say he could manifest a complete works for 1,000 gold.
1,000.
And hands it over. It's a little dog ear.
His
It's got
first
like
folio.
it's got the New York Public Library like sort of stenciled into the cover.
Pricey bookshop.
Yes, it does, Nitro. Yeah, and he hands it to you. Nix, that was very generous. Do you have a punch card? Oh, we've implemented these. We have punch cards now.
I've kind of been gone a year in hell, so.
Oh, here.
I haven't-
Take
Right,
one.
we went to
Thank
hell.
you.
Also,
We.
we went to hell.
He will punch a punch in your punch card.
How many punches are there until you get something?
20.
And with 1,000 gold, you got one.
Apparently. What's it say? Is it per item? Am I just using it wrong?
Oh no, the punch card not gets you anything. I just really like punching things.
Ah,
I'm
Throw
just
it.
kidding. No, a punch card will get you a draw from the deck.
Interesting. Alright.
You said a punch goes for the deck.
Yes, we have new deck of cards. I discovered it while exploring. It is very nice. These cards have different features about them. Pulling one card can have a certain effect, pulling another can have a different one, but they are world
19 punches away.
change.
Is it a,
remember, we're not here for a game of chance.
Remember
Be
how you
an
just gave
arcana
Shirley everything you have?
I think I know what this deck is.
Should I also roll?
Yes, anybody that
I
wants
feel
to
like
roll.
I should be rolling that. Ooh, 28.
You have heard of a deck of cards. Each card imbued with a certain magical effect. This deck of cards has the ability to change the world. And it also has the ability to destroy the person who draws the card. Dimitri has decided to monetize this deck. And as you look over to the side of the room, you see a podium surrounded by 2 or 3 guards. There are arcane sigils carved into the floor and a 100-foot sort of sphere around this. The floor around the podium is dirt, and on this podium is a deck of cards.
How many of these have been filled out so far?
That is a very good question.
would you say
Do you
that
know the answer?
I do. But where's the fun in that? Don't you want to know? It's all about the mystery.
would you say that a nat 20 knows better?
I would say you know it's called the deck of many
I
things.
got a name.
What about a nat 1?
I would say
Wow!
you know
Oh.
what you
You know what
What a
cards
card
are.
is.
you know what cards are. They're the little things that you roll with
Do
numbers
I
on
want
them.
it? Do I have the monies? Do I want it?
I need to remember
Please
this.
don't
Would a
want
nat
it.
20 hit?
You
Oh yeah.
Give.
What a
Cool.
nat one.
I'm gonna roll damage.
You have no idea what these things are. You have no idea what he's talking about. Nix gets worried. You have no idea what they are.
Do they look pretty?
Do they look pretty?
Are they
You gonna walk
appeasing?
over to where they are?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a nat 1. Like
Okay.
You know, these would be an excellent gift for justice.
Don't you dare.
she has many gifts that she gets regularly. So
Ah, that's funny. I've had those gifts and not that regular.
Are we really doing this in the middle of the store?
Oh, there's no better place to do it. Dimitri's a man of class and
This is the
jokes.
reason he didn't want to give us how much Mandrake owes him. Just throwing it out there.
Some days it is good to have. Some
no,
days
trust
it
me,
is
I
hard.
live with
wouldn't
him.
call
Trust
this
me, I
penis
know.
a gift, but, like, it is.
I know.
What happened?
How may I help you all? And get you out of my store to stop arguing in the front of it.
would you take Blood of the Wolf?
No. For a draw on the deck? No. No, not at all. That magical item is volatile, and I have no guarantee of what it will do. Is that why you are here, just to shop?
No.
If so, please help yourselves.
We're here for information.
Which is why I got the book,
Ah,
Indeed. I'll pay back for that later, somehow.
if you want.
Do you know much about the Silva?
yes.
Do you know much about the Silva in Wonder? We...
Yes.
This is like watching chess.
Do you know much about Silva and Wonder?
Not as much as I'd like.
Mm.
Still, relatively new this time around.
Sure, yes.
Somebody burned down one of the trees.
I see. This is shame.
You're not wrong.
Who's studying Dimitri?
Me.
I am.
Me, but I don't.
Everybody give me an insight check.
Oh, I'm great at that. That's a
Same.
5, because it's a 5 on
Five?
the die.
19.
19.
20.
20.
I'm looking at the deck.
You're looking at the deck. His eyebrow tremors when you tell him the tree got burned down. His eyebrow just.
We think they're hiding something inside her.
Inside the tree.
Inside the seed.
Inside, you have seed.
I do.
All right.
We were told you might be able to help us find out what it is.
Sure. Do you have seed with you?
I do.
Can we do this in a more private area than the middle of the store?
Absolutely. Let's go back to my office. And he will lead you back into the store to a very familiar room, once again filled with tchotchkes, some of which you have bought, little broken things that have been found, forgotten things, abandoned things that he seems to have littered this little back office with. It's the first storefront that you ever saw in Dimitri's. And you start looking around, and there's not only the stuff that you found. He looks around, and he turns to you and says, "There is something in seed. It is not of you. It is not of the Silver people.
Correct.
And you want to know what it is."
I do.
We're all kind of curious, actually.
What is? Oh, all right. This is deep magic. So what do I get out of this? I am a businessman first and foremost. And not only this, but I am risking myself, my shop, and my reputation to find out what is in this seed. So make me an offer and don't insult me.
I'll give you a piece of myself.
You are willing to do
And
this?
I'm gonna pull out the elemental gem. My first fear. I'm gonna pull out the spider and go, the first gift that was given to me. The best and the worst of me.
The room gets cold, kids. Like, temperature-wise, the room gets cold. You don't know what it is. You think you might hear the sound of dripping water coming from somewhere. The room just gets cold. And he looks at the items placed before him. And he holds out a hand for the seed.
He's gonna give it to him.
Let's cut back to the other scene.
Ah!
Thoe.
We're not doing anything important. We don't need to come back to this.
Thoe and Mandrake, you guys are sitting there and you're doing a little bit of research. As you read through this book, it takes about an hour of your time. You were granted 2 hours clemency because you came in with Flint. As you begin to read, you find the story of the fire elementals. Not fire elementals, but fire genasi, a group of people who lived in Wonderland for a time being, that were known as craftsmen and warriors and a very proud people. The details in the book get a little wonky, okay? There's something known as the cleansing. the fire genasi were hunted. They were brought down. They were hunted. They were all but exterminated. A group of them decided to leave Wonderland. They boarded a vessel. The book is iffy about what sort of vessel it was. They boarded a vessel, and they left after the last outpost was sieged upon.
Okay.
As far as the book talks about, the remaining fire genasi are limited in number.
Okay.
The last one of well-renowned was a captain. His name was Captain Blackheart, and he was known to be the person who worked the railroad, essentially, that ferried all of them away in a vehicle of some sort. The last known vessel leaving Poor Man's Toe.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thoe, we're getting real abstract with this, okay?
Okay.
The book that you find doesn't talk about the gods disappearing. It talks about the forming of the gods.
Okay.
It talks about the original story book of Alice in Wonderland. And this book being a guide for anyone in wonder looking for answers. The story is about a little girl who loses her way and winds up interacting with all of the gods. It's odd because this is an analysis of anyone in wonder looking for answers and going on a journey and running into the philosophical side of things, questioning their lives with the caterpillar, giving up and wondering if chaos is the way to go, knowing that the universe has a plan, it doesn't matter what you do, so you might as well kick up a little dirt while you can. It gets into the Red Queen, and the Red Queen, it's an analysis of the gods. However, as all of these gods are touched upon, in reference to this analysis of Alice in Wonderland, near the end, it's a benediction from the author, almost like an afterwards, that says, the gods are not needed as long as we remember their stories. They were never actually real. They were merely the representations of ideals. Cheshire, the cat, is alive in all of us. The Mad Hatter is our drive and our want to change what is wrong. The only one that has any basis in history is the Red Queen. That is what you find in the book.
Okay. I'd also like to find, hopefully in the same section, something on the genealogy.
You looking by yourself, or are you using Archimedes?
I'm not using Archimedes. The genealogy of the Red Queen. I want to compare that. I want to look for the genealogy of Mandrake.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the Hatter.
You're looking
and
for
compare that to the genealogy of the Red Queen.
investigation, please.
Okay. All right, Wolf, if you're watching, this is your die. Come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That was a 19 plus an investigation is plus 2, 21. Like I'm looking like family trees, things along that nature. I want to see about the path that went from the Hatter to Mandrake, and I want to look at the path from what I'm assuming is the original Red Queen or the Red Queen deity to the current Red Queen.
Okay. So in a public library, it's hard to find, even in a library that belongs to the kingdom, it's hard to find specific genealogies past a certain degree.
Okay.
You're not going to find like the genealogy of like regular people as time goes on. However, you're looking for prolific genealogies. You're looking for things that are talked about.
Right.
You're looking for the royal court. The queen. Alice Elizabeth Kingston is her name. And the Mad Hatter is listed in part of the court there. He is listed as Mandrake Madigan.
Okay. And he's part of the court of the queen?
He served in the court. It's almost like
In the court of the
here is
original
the queen, here is the king.
The original Hatter served in the court of the original queen.
Correct.
And
Also known as Mandrake Madigan.
Okay. And do I see any sorts of records like, okay, we know because he said, or we know he said that he is the great grandchild of the original Hatter. This queen, is there any sort of reference to where she is in that line in relation to the Red Queen?
The queen, the only record that you could find is Alice had a daughter. Alice Elizabeth Kingston had a daughter who she named Elizabeth.
Okay.
Elizabeth had a daughter by the name of Marie. And Marie had a son by the name of Harold.
Okay.
You recognize Harold as the king of Wonder. This queen is not the direct descendant of the Queen of Hearts.
Yes. Thank you.
You got really high investigation, right?
It was 21.
Above a 20, you find some inklings hidden in some of these books of impropriety between Alice Kingston,
And Mandrake?
Mandrake Madigan. Things that were misinterpreted as lovers' quarrels in the court. Rumors that the queen was not entirely faithful. Even more rumors that the king was sterile.
With the information that I got on I would relay that
Okay?
to Thoe, the fire genasi part.
What are you researching? You got like one more hour and then you gotta start paying for it.
I would tell Thoe. So, Kit did mention that there was a restricted section.
Do you have my interest?
In my history, the best things are kept in the restricted section.
Yes, I am very aware of that. I spent a lot of time in libraries. I don't know if you've picked up on that.
Right, but you don't spend a lot of time breaking the rules.
Okay. I'm really good at hiding. I'm also very good at being stealthy, especially in libraries, especially when I go to the restricted section. What do you think? I grew up in libraries. I've been to the restricted section.
Right,
Jeez.
but there have been a lot of changes recently.
Okay, yeah, that was a rule I was breaking way back when.
Fair. Speaking of changes, I think you should have this. And I'll pull out the ring of free action and the scroll of rage that I have had for a while.
Why do you think I should have that?
Well, to scroll, first of all.
Well,
Secondly, that thing that you did was amazing.
thank you.
And you took nothing. No spoils.
I didn't need anything.
I know you don't need them. But sometimes you deserve them.
Well, thank you. I mean, honestly, I don't think that they would help me. I have a lot of really wonderful things that help me to do the things that I need to do, and those things are very limited. We can only connect to so many things, and
I'm well aware.
it's very kind of you.
No one else was going to use it. You can always use gold.
It's true. Wait, are you offering me something that I would sell for gold that you're not going to sell for gold? Who are you?
We've all changed a little bit.
A little bit? Are you feeling okay?
I'm fine.
All right, I'm going to ask you that like 7 more times over the course of the rest of the day, but thank you.
You're welcome. Just... We're all different.
You sure you're feeling okay?
I am... Well... Besides, I've got this now. How am I going to wear a ring?
Have another hand. You got 5 fingers on that one.
I'm saving this one.
For 5 other rings?
I don't know what we're going to find in the restricted section.
Right. Well, we're going to get kicked out of this library.
Flint did say it was going to be dangerous. Thus far, I've read a book.
So it hasn't been dangerous enough for you, so you need to make it more dangerous? Okay.
Maybe I haven't changed that much.
The entrance to the restricted section is behind the reservation desk, which is currently being sat down. There's someone sitting down in front of it. It's your friend that let you in.
Mm-hmm.
And Flint is in conversation with him.
Well, listen, I can turn into just about anything that can get through over here. I mean, it's probably warded by magics, to be fair. This is a really big library. If you want me to give it a try, I can. I could probably also turn you into something, but the problem is you would have to kind of hitchhike with me because you wouldn't be the smartest.
I can get there on my own.
How?
Do you remember when we went to the boat?
Oh. Okay.
There are a lot of birds in here.
All right. Well, meet in the restricted section. Restricted. I can't talk. Restricted section.
She's just so excited.
I know.
Let's go.
All right.
How do you want to do this?
This is so dumb. And I want to get back and find out what's going on with them. I'm just going to. Gosh, I know this thing's going to be warded and it's going to bite us so hard, but that's okay. I'm going to change into a bird.
Okay. What
I'm
sort of bird?
I'm going to change into a bird that looks an awful lot like Archimedes.
Okay.
And go flying in. Wait.
Exactly like Archimedes, or a bird similar to Archimedes.
When I was looking at all the birds, were there any other like Archimedes was a raven? What kind of bird was
He was an
Archimedes? Okay, an owl. Were there other owls that looked like Archimedes, or was there only one owl that looked like Archimedes?
There was a few that had similar features, all
Okay.
different sort of color schemes.
Okay. I'm gonna go for Archimedes-esque, but not exact.
Okay. You turn into a bird that looks like Archimedes.
All right, and I'm gonna try flying in.
Okay. You fly over to where the front desk is. What do you do? Do you land on the desk? Do you fly to the door?
No, I'm just gonna fly straight into the restricted section.
Okay, it's a closed door.
Oh, it's a closed door. Oh, that's what I did get. Okay, are there slats through? Are there any ways through?
It's a closed door.
Okay, I'll land on the desk.
He's having a conversation. Flint is engrossed in conversation, and as they sit there, there's a moment where Kit looks over at the bird and looks over at the door and looks back at Flint and looks confused and then sneezes and then reaches behind him and opens the door to the restricted section.
I fly in.
Okay? And closes the door behind him. You are currently in a long hallway. The hallway is carved with sort of ridges, slots that go one up top, one in the middle, and one in the bottom.
Okay, so I'm not seeing books?
So, no, you're not seeing books. It's a stone hallway with a ridge going along the top, a ridge going along the bottom, and a ridge going along the middle. Like a little shelf.
Okay, shelves, but no books on the shelves. Okay. And are there any other doors, windows, entrances, exits, anything
Looks like
else?
looks like the hallway turns sharply to the left at the end of the hallway.
I'm gonna go down to the end of the hallway.
Cool. Give me a
Peek to the left.
give me a dexterity saving throw.
17 plus 1, 18.
Okay. You flying up to the top, the middle, or the bottom?
Flying towards the top.
And what is your dex?
The dex is plus.
And this is the owl stats, right?
Oh crap! No, it's not. But I rolled a 17 on the die.
Okay. I will say.
So I will pull up owl
I
stats.
will say with a 17, you manage to mitigate this small groove that immediately cuts out of the wall and just holds in place. But you manage to avoid it with that 17 and fly off to the side. It clips your wing a little bit. You take 1 point of damage.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. You manage to maintain your bearing, and as you do, you get to a wide open room. It is a circular room. It looks very comfortable. There are lounge chairs, and you see 32 other wizened librarians sitting in there. Occasionally, their eyes will go a blank white color as they channel their familiar and use it to help someone visiting the library, and they go back to reading some of the tomes.
Okay. Okay, I am going to try to perch on an inconspicuous upper shelf
Okay,
and wait to see what happens with Mandrake because I don't want to get too far behind
cool.
on him.
We'll get back
What's
to that in a
happening.
second.
Got it.
Dimitri takes the seed from you. As he does, he walks over to the central area where his desk is and shoves the desk up against the wall. It's a one-handed move where he displays a lot of strength, just sort of pushing the desk off to the side. Underneath the desk is an arcane circle that seems to have been carved in. The first layer of gold, the second a sort of silvery looking material that's not quite silver, and the third layer of this protective circle being a metal that seems to flow like water, but is held in place. You're not sure what it is. He walks over to this arcane circle and begins to sit in the center of the circle, and as he does, he sits cross-legged holding the seed in his person. As he does, the seed begins to open just a tiny little bit. A little bit of golden pollen seems to escape from the seed itself, and as it does, he looks like he's going to breathe it in, but instead waves his hands about in a protective gesture, and the pollen returns back inside of the seed. He continues to sit like this for a while, the candles in the room occasionally flickering, and it seems like an inappropriate amount of time, as his eyes are closed but begin to flicker across the eyelids. You're watching him as it almost looks like he's reading something, or he's looking for something, but his eyes stay closed. At one point, he twists his head and looks at something with his eyes closed, and his arms are crossed, the seed's in his lap, and he shoots out a fist. And as he shoots out his fist, his hand closes on something, and as it does, his hair, one strand of it, just this beautiful, beautiful hair that you've always seen, like Dimitri had, this sort of the dark, sort of curly hair. One strand of the hair, like a chunk of it, falls out. Like it just falls out of his head and hits the ground, and as it hits the ground, there is a like evaporation as it hits the protective circle. He shrugs in pain and cracks his neck a little bit and goes back to it, and then he takes a deep breath and steps back. He looks about the space, and he looks hard at you. He shakes his head no, and he hands you back the seed.
So what did you find?
Ishar. The first one.
The first what?
Queen.
What
Someone wants her mom back. It is a dumb choice. She was crazy. I have heard stories. But it's her. And unfortunately, you cannot grow the tree without one bad apple. She's mixed in there like a poison in my batch of cookies. You'll not know what cookie is good or which cookie is bad because it's just a few drops. She was killed outright. Ceremonies happened to bring her back and all failed. It looks like they found the loophole.
So it's just her, and then everything else would be grows normal. It wouldn't have any other.
As far as I
effects.
know, silver magic is deep magic. Yes. But she is powerful, even in this form.
As I understand it. And to be clear, I don't. You're from the tree.
Oh yeah,
And when you die, you go back to the tree.
oh I do.
And then you come back from the tree
That's
to be reborn again,
mhm.
henceforth immortal.
Well, sort of.
It will take a few years. And this queen is being mixed in with the tree
Correct.
so that she can come from the tree. And then possibly go back to the tree upon death, and then again reborn from the tree.
But she's not.
No, good news, bad news. You cannot be born of a tree and not have